All right. So we're gonna be working some muscles. Let's get some jog going. Jeremy, tall trainer here. We've got a barbell workout. We're gonna do called the barbell toner. All right. So this is what you can do with basically like a set of Walmart weights. All right. A workout that you can do with that. All right. And so keeping it fairly basic, very common exercises. But I'm gonna try to talk you through and make sure you can do them really, really well. Why are we doing this? And we wanna make actual workouts that actually have some kind of corrections and things like that available to more people. All right, where it's not just, just watching somebody do some great work, but helping you figure out how to do some great work yourself. So I'm gonna talk a bit. All right, so you're gonna hear from me some while you're doing this work. All right, so we'll get things warmed up a little bit here first. There's a disclaimer here, you're exercising at your own risk there. Exercise can be somewhat dangerous. It may not be the best workout for you. Try to nail this posture right. I can't see you, and talk to your doctor. And if somebody feels bad, get some extra help. Maybe with a trainer or something like that. All right, do some tap backs. All right, just want to make sure everybody's safe while we're doing stuff. All right. Exercise can be incredibly beneficial, and the risk of not exercising is greater than the risk of exercising. As you're taking on a huge risk in your life to not exercise. But you gotta do the right stuff. All right, so I do have a little something about me. If you wanna know, kick back, crisscross here, loosen up here. I just took a couple photos the other day. I was recovering from actually a little bit of a surgery. I had like a little lipoma, a little mass on my hip. I needed to get taken off there. And so while I was recovering, I snapped a couple photos of my girls playing with chickens and my wife working while I was sitting around. And I was throwing the ball for the dog. It was very nice though. I really love this time of year as the weather comes back into some of this niceness there. So there's a shot of my life, right there. It's pretty terrible. It's just too nice actually. I feel very, very blessed. All right. And I'm wearing the same shirt. Look at that. All right, so let's loosen up a little bit. So what we got is we're gonna do a set of kind of like the big three, the legs, pull, and push. All right, those three main exercises. I'm gonna do push-ups instead of a chest press, and I'm gonna encourage you guys to do that because when you're doing a chest press by yourself, that weight is like over you and it's a heavy weight. And so I just want to make sure people are safe. You can do it, but I do like it if you have some other precautions around you when you're doing chest press alone. All right, so I'd rather do push-ups where the bar can't fall on you. All right, because it's a heavier weight. The other ones, the bar is gonna be over us for like triceps, but it's not gonna be as heavy a weight, like you're not in trouble. All right, so that's the only difference I'm gonna do, but you could do the chest press with your barbell as well. All right, like I said, I can do a little squat hold, listen up here a little bit. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a minute each exercise, squat, row, push up, and then we're gonna rest a minute. We're gonna squat, row, push up again, rest a minute, squat, row, push up again, rest a minute. And then we're gonna break into some other exercises. We're gonna lighten the bar to a lighter weight, and we're gonna use that lighter weight through all the rest of them, okay? So for starting weight, like what do you need to be working on here? Is you probably need to be getting, something in the, how would it be? I'm gonna be using about 60 pounds for this, but if you're just starting off, maybe just a 10 pounder on each side, the first time you're doing this, just to make sure you've got it. Maybe you could try 20 pounds on each side if you're like, I'm pretty strong, and then do that way first before you try to jump up to the exact same weight I'm doing. All right, that'd probably be a good idea. All right, so Bobby, you let me know when you're ready. We're gonna start off with a squat. We're gonna have to pick this up and put it on our shoulders. Ready? So you call it. Go. Oh, you're like 10 seconds ahead of me. All right, so here we go. So squatting down and coming back up. So push the butt back. I'm setting this bar on my shoulders, not on my neck. All right, pushing it back here and standing up. Dropping in nice and low, standing up. All right, so a good clean squat. So a really good squat has the butt traveling back behind you as you're doing it. The knees are squeezing out, all right? So butt goes back, knees squeeze out, and you keep that chest out. Now, I like the bar on the back because it kind of forces you to keep your chest out because the bar is kind of pinning you back a little bit, which is why it's good not to have it on your neck, because if you go down your neck, you can still slouch a lot. When I bring it down a little bit lower, it pins my shoulder blades back better. All right? Make sure those knees aren't going forward as you're doing this. That'll make it just a little bit too much excitement. We really want to try to wake up the hips. Most of us have hips that are too tight. We need to loosen those up before we get into the knees. All right, so we're gonna do a row. I'm gonna kick this up, jump a little bit, catch that. I'm gonna switch to an underhand grip. As I do the row, I'll turn sideways a little bit here for this one. Chest out, butt out, and I'm squeezing back here. All right, this position is hard to get to. All right, so chest out and butt out. A straight back is needed here. A lot of people will round and bend. I don't want to show it too much because it actually could hurt me. All right, so chest out, butt out. But this is a position we want to get good at because real life happens here. You're going to pick up something from the ground someday. And it's good to have that practice in. So chest is out, butt is out. Sometimes I pretend like I'm like the figure on the front of a ship where I really puffing that chest out. Squeeze those shoulders back. If you need to, do top half ones. You can oftentimes get the shoulder blades doing more of that movement, working the top half. All right, and then we're gonna do push-ups. All right, again, we could do a chest press, but we're not gonna, because I don't want the bar over you so much. All right, so coming down and pressing back up. Shoulders away from the ears, chest is out. You could do this on a countertop or the stairs, you know, to get a modified version on that. Even the coffee table. Hands are up on there, it makes it a little bit easier. Push the chest out, squeeze the shoulders away from the ears. Push-ups are super common, but they're like super commonly done wrong. All right, so keep the shoulders away from the ears and chest out is big. Sometimes I pause the bottom and I'll squeeze my shoulders away, push my chest out, and then push back up. And that's harder, but it's harder in the right way. It's working the right thing. Shoulders away, chest out. Chest away, chest out. Oh yeah. All right, good. That was pretty good. Now, you want to maybe get to a weight that will start to challenge you a bit more. Like this is maybe a touch light on a couple of these for me, but what I'll do is in my second round, instead of talking and teaching so much, I'll give a couple extra squeezes so I can get that feel of it a bit more too. Because you do want a pretty good challenge to make the progress. If you don't get it on these first three, the other ones will have a chance to catch you up again a little bit too. They're a little bit smaller muscle groups, more specific movements, and so the tired factor, very specific tired factor will kick in a lot more there too. All right, if it was too heavy, you could make it lighter right now. If it's too light, I suppose you could make it heavier. But if you're making it the whole minute and it's not too much of a strain, I would go heavier. But make sure your posture does look similar to mine. All right. All right, here we go. Push the butt back. Now, if I'm feeling kind of easy on this, I could do bottom half ones. Just not come all the way up. That'll get things cooking a little bit there too. It should really feel like you're really pushing that butt back a lot as you're doing the squat. All right. Working the glutes, hamstrings. The thighs will still get burning, but we just don't want this knee driving forward. If your weight's on your toes, your knees are gonna be coming forward. So you don't want the knees forward, and you don't want the knees going in either. Keep them out. Dig in, squeeze up. If you can, imagine like you're pushing the ground down through your heels. You'll get the glutes and hamstrings doing more work that way. Chest is out. Whew, nice. All right, so pop it over. Switch it over to the underhand grip. Chest out, butt out, and squeezing back. Squeeze those shoulder blades behind you there. And now going from that into this, second round, my glutes are burning a little bit while I'm holding this position. Now, If you don't have your glutes burning, it might be that your back is bent. All right, your back might start to burn more. Chest out, butt out. Now make sure you can get some warmth in the back, and that's fine, but don't get any warmth while it's bent. All right, keep it straight. Some top half ones. Oh boy. Oh, that was good. All right, so push-ups. Can do from knees, can do from toes. Quality is very important here. Posture number one priority, then range of motion. We're gonna get some good depth out of that. And then you go for lots of reps. Shoulders away from the ears, it's hard to do, almost instantly for most people. Rest break coming, but not yet. Oh yeah. All right, a couple seconds to go. Here we go. Rest break. Whew. All right, so there's 2 rounds. One more round of that to go, and then we'll move on to the other exercises. That being said, I'm breathing hard. I got my legs kind of pumping, upper back and my chest working a bit there too. A lot of my body is getting some work. If you really were strapped for time, you could just do this first section. And that's gonna be like 12 minutes. All right, and so it would be something. It'd be something, so if like having lots of time feels like it's not really an option, you know, this might be helpful for you. All right, so, you know, but again, this whole extended thing is only gonna be just a little over 30 minutes. All right, all together. Whew. All right, ready for squat? And beep. All right, nice wide stance. Push the butt back. Getting a little lower will make it harder, but it also is more likely for you to bend your back. So make sure as you're hitting that low spot, really stick that tailbone out, like, or imagine like your tailbone's like a ski jump, right here, pressing it out behind you really well. Sometimes I'll tell people, stick your butt out like you're trying to tear your pants, all right? It's not your pants you're trying to tear, it's your glutes you're trying to stretch. And then you can flex them on the way up. Oh yeah. I'm gonna feel this on the row. Oof. Oh yeah. Getting there. All right, good. Row. Squeezing back between the shoulder blades. Make sure you're tipped over enough. As people start going, they start standing up like this. If I do my row up here, I'm gonna be squeezing my neck a lot. I'm doing shrugs more than rows. So you're tipped over. If you can, think about pushing your chest out first before you even start pulling the weight towards you. And it's not a pull towards you as much as it is a puffing the chest out. Oh, buns. Oh, my buns. Oh boy. Oh man, got it. Whew. All right, sweet. Push-ups. Let's get it. I don't even need the whole time on push-ups because I burn out fast. Chest is out, shoulders away from the ears. Squeeze those armpits. All right. Whew. All right, that's lovely. We're gonna take a minute rest. I'm gonna lighten this weight here. We're gonna go quite a bit lighter, all right? All right, so we're gonna take this down. Maybe I can handle a little bit more than this, but I'm gonna have 10 on each side. So maybe the first time you go at this one, you know, maybe a 5-pounder on each side, or a 5 and a 2.5 on each side. Maybe. All right. I'll do the first round with just the 10 on each side. Maybe the second round too. Maybe the third round I'll try a little extra if it's really being easy on me. All right. But I gotta talk too, so that's different. Whew. You got about 7 seconds. Ready? And here we go. Lunges. Over here. We're just gonna do a tap back lunge here, all right? Switching legs. All right. The other option was gonna be a minute on one leg, minute the other leg. And that's good too. Digging that heel in, pressing up there. For a lot of people, getting low in the lunges is super difficult. All right, so get down there. If you can't get down very far, get rid of the bar and do it without the bar. And just try to get that dipping in there. Weights on the heel. I'm leaning over that front leg a bit as I do this. But I'm pushing through the heel and that front leg coming up. Not pushing off the back leg a whole lot. All right, biceps. Flip the hands around. I'll face on for this one. And we're pulling up in here. Chest is out, shoulders away from the ears. Make sure your elbows don't go behind you. Keep them out, right by your sides as you're doing the bicep curl. Do go all the way down with that bar. Some people will get caught doing partial weight ones, but this is a lot more shoulder, all right, when you're doing it that way. Try to lock that posture in. Sometimes I imagine like I'm growing roots in the ground with my feet, holding my core in tight so I'm not rocking back as I get tired here. Make sure your shoulders don't pop up or it's too much on the bicep tendon. All right? You don't want that. That's one of those shoulder ouchies. Okay, triceps. Be laying down here. Narrow hand grip here. Elbow squeezed in, dropping in and pressing up. And this one might be a little bit harder than the bicep. You may not get as many reps at the same weight. Dropping in and squeezing up. But in the interest of time, we're trying to choose exercises. We try to position them in a way so you can use the heavy weight for the first 3, and now we're using the same bar through all these other exercises to save time on switching around stuff. Nice. So it's like you're closing a trap door, opening a trap door, or if I was wearing a baseball cap, I'm bringing that bar to basically the tip of the baseball cap and pressing back up. Elbows squeeze in. The harder you squeeze your elbows in, the harder this is. So if it's feeling easy, squeeze your elbows towards each other more, and then try that work. All right? We got shoulders. All right, so I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna press overhead here. All right? Right here, pressing up. Now I'm going about chin height to up. Right here. Abs are pulled in. If you want to make it harder, tip forward just a tiny bit. Yep, there it is. Try not to lean back too much. If this one's too hard for you, you can take some weights off and maybe do a side raise. We go out to the side here, all right? With some weights there. Now sometimes overhead stuff doesn't work great on the shoulder, depending on what kind of damage you have in there. All right, abs. All right, you can use one of the plates that you took off, or you can use the actual bar. We're gonna do V-ups here. All right, so up, legs are up. I'm gonna reach back with the bar, and I'm coming up with the bar. Reaching back, coming up there. Reaching back, abs are tight, and then coming up. So make sure the abs are tight when you're reaching back. That's when your back is most likely to arch. All right, you don't want it to arch while you're doing this. Don't want the lower back coming off the ground. Abs are pulled in, lower abdominals particularly. If I can start this upward movement with my abs, it's better than just swinging my arms up. If I do that, it's actually more of a shoulder thing. If I can do it with the abs, I can even leave the bar back here a little bit and just do this ab squeeze here without moving my arms that much. And I'm likely to get a lot more in the abs this way. All right, a little rest break. All right, so we're gonna go through 2 more rounds on that. All right, and that's pretty good, you know, on the weight. A couple of those are a little bit harder, a couple of those a little bit easier, but all in all, it's pretty good work. All right, so my legs are a little bit stronger. I could probably go a little bit heavier on that part. My biceps might be able to handle a little bit more too. You know what, maybe I will cheat. I'll do this thing here. If you put a weight on the end without a clip on, just be ready for it to fall off though, okay? Make sure nobody's foot's in the way. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use that as an opportunity for you to ditch the weight really quick when it's time to switch exercises. And I got 10 seconds. So it does mean you have to lunge kind of carefully, you know, if you're gonna do it that way, but I could also just move the clip and stuff too, but you know, that's some work. All right, tapping back and switching. Nice and smooth, nice and steady, especially since I got a loose weight on there. Dropping in, squeezing up. Try not to use that back leg too much. Front leg is definitely running the show. Remember, if you can't go very far down, go lighter and try to go farther down. All right, getting this hip down to about the same level as the knee is gonna really get some great work through the hips, better stretching in the hips there too. And that's more valuable than lifting a heavy, heavy weight. Close there. All right, pump it up with bicep curl. That is good. Got my interest. Chest is out. Sometimes I'll do a little kickstand stuff with my foot. Have one foot back behind me a little bit. And that kind of helps me actually try not to lean back too much. Shoulders down, chest is out. That feels lovely. All right, let's try that tricep. Lay on the ground. Narrow hand grip, drifting back. Elbows squeeze in is a big trick here. I usually leave my knees bent here, keep my abs braced, lower back not arching off the ground. Elbows squeeze in. I'll take my thumbs from the back side of the bar typically, all right? And that gives me a chance to pivot my hands in a little more and get those elbows to squeeze in a little bit more too. Back of the arm, the bat wings as they call people sometimes, right? A little flab. The back of the arm is what we want to go for a lot. Just tone that muscle, strengthen that muscle. Get some definition in there. All right. Shoulder. So I'm gonna ditch the weight on this one. All right. A little lighter. Especially if I lean forward on shoulders. I do better quality reps. It's gonna be a little different there. Don't lean back as you do it. Don't settle the bar too low either. Don't bring it down way in here. It's a little bit of a strain on the shoulder. So maybe even just think about like smelling the bar and bring it back up. Smells good. Smells like success. Abs in tight. Lean forward. Make it harder. I don't need that right now. All right. V-ups. Laying down. Grab a hold of that. Abs in tight. The abs. Now, if I'm having trouble with the abs, I can bend my knees and tuck them in a little bit more here. Make it a little bit easier. Or if I want to challenge it more, I can start kicking them out more. But make sure that back doesn't start arching off the ground when you do that. So this is actually pretty far. I'm going right here, and it's a big challenge for me. Abs pulled in. Try to initiate that movement with the abs. It matters. Lovely. I can feel that really nicely across the abs there. Whew. All right, we'll rest a little bit. And we'll do one more set. That'll be pretty good. It'll be a pretty good day, pretty well-rounded, on a lot of the strength there. All right, so I'll slide my weights back down there. That was nice. That was fun. Again, don't do that if you're gonna drop it on somebody or your own foot, okay? Use your clip all the time. Whew. All right, so one more round. So we got lunges, biceps, triceps, shoulders, abs. One more go through those. All right, and then we'll stretch out a little bit, and it'll be a lovely day. Working out regularly is super awesome. Once a week is enough to get something. If you can get to, a couple times a week, it's even better. So if you can just join us once a week for this, that's awesome. All right, do like, subscribe, comment, share it with other people. Those kind of things will help get more people moving. All right, let's grab this. Let's pick it up. Especially if you have a funny comment, I do like those. All right, tap back, switch in. I don't know what could possibly be funny about me working out though. It's pretty awesome. Just how amazing I am or something. All right, press that heel into the ground. Keep the back nice and straight. All right, the legs want to make the back work. All right, so you have to purposely work on keeping that back straight. Make the legs do it. I have ruptured a disc in my lower back at 22 years old. Learned valuable lessons about keeping my back straight, and it does not bother me. And I can do all sorts of stuff. All right, but pretty good at keeping my back straight. All right, biceps. There you go. A little bit out of breath after lunges. It's a larger muscle group. How are you doing? Don't let those elbows go back too far. Puff that chest out. Shoulders down. Don't take that break on top either where you're up here and pausing. Try not to do that, all right? So it almost feels like 3/4 of the way up. Don't spend too long at the bottom either. All right, triceps. Hit the floor. Don't hit your head on the bottom when you lay down. Narrow hand grip. Elbows in. Thumbs are on the back side. It's my favorite. Watch your wrists when you're doing this. So when I come down, I'll actually flex my wrists so they're about this way, not dropping back. All right, they're flexed up as I'm doing this. All right. Otherwise, you may get done and you go, hey, my wrists feel funny. Elbow squeezing in. The more in they are, the harder it is for your triceps. Notice how that one part of my arm is like my arms are resting on a shelf or something. They're not really moving much in there. So it's not a whole shoulder movement here. It's just bend the elbow, straighten it, close the trap door, open the trap door. All right. Digit for shoulders. Pressing up. Good, looking good. A pretty wide grip for this. One of the reasons is I don't want too much elbow pressure. If I go narrower on this grip, my elbows have to bend a lot. They're coming at a pretty sharp angle. So a bit wider, I don't have to bend my elbows as much at the bottom there. All right, my shoulders are getting some big work, but my elbows don't have to bend as far. Abs are tight. Try not to lean back. All right, V-ups. Just about there. Just about there. Basically got like the tricep grip on the bar right now. Tight. You can almost imagine like somebody stepping on me just before I bring that bar up. Like stepping on my stomach. Brace it. As soon as you reach full extension, you go, oh, somebody's stepping on me. Oh, tighten that up. Oh, sweat's getting in my eyes. This is good. This is good news. Hope it's getting yours too. Pull those abs in. All right. Whew. We've done it. Now I'm gonna switch my timer around. You breathe for just 2 seconds and we'll get our stretch started here. All right, pull that knee in. Got that knee in stretched, hip stretch, tricep, hamstring, hip flexor quad, calf and chest. That's what we've got, all right? Basically 30 seconds on each. 30 seconds is not very long. If you're looking for therapeutic amounts of stretching, you need to do multiple sets of this. So if you know stretching is like one of the things that's holding you back the most, maybe you repeat these when we're done 2 or 3 times, all right? To get some more stretching in. All of exercise is an investment in the future, right? So you're stretching, the investment is that you'll feel better in the future. It does waste time now, all right? But it makes for a better future, all right? And the more activities we do like that, the better. Things that, tire us out in the moment, can oftentimes give us a much better future. All right, cross the ankle over the knee, reach through, grab that bottom leg, like children. Boy, it could be a lot of work in the moment, but it is rewarding to just be a part of the growth of a human to see them go through those steps and maybe have a little more sympathy for yourself in that process. A little more understanding what it was like for you to be a kid. All right, and go over the knee, other side. Pull it in towards you. Oh, stretching out the glute here, the hip. You can pull it towards you more if you're not getting enough stretch. This is actually still a little sore and tight from the other day. It's good to flex a little bit. Nothing gets a soreness out like another workout, I'll tell you. Oh. All right, we'll come up. We'll catch that tricep stretch. All right, so we reach through right over the back here. Press that elbow up in the air. Stretching the back of the arm here. Whew. All right, so doing this work regularly is super valuable. All right, so doing the stretching regularly obviously is super valuable too. All right, so trying to skip out on this time for sure, but getting that strength training on a regular basis is amazingly beneficial. All right, so I mean I think it's definitely reaching a pretty high watermark for acceptance right now. You should still do cardio too. But definitely I appreciate the value people are putting on strength training because the research is showing it has value. All right, so kick this foot out here, not too far out in front of the other foot because otherwise it's too hard to stay balanced there. But chest out, butt out, tipping in here, stretching the back of the leg here. All right, really straight in the back as you're doing this. All right, so this hamstring is attached to the sit bones, the bones we sit on there. And so they're right next to the tailbone. So if we stick the tailbone out, the sit bones are gonna move out more and you're gonna feel more stretch. So stick your tailbone out, oof, and you're gonna feel more of that stretch here. Other side. It's amazing some of the subtle differences in exercises, in exercise position. And that's one of the reasons why we want to do these videos here. We're going to just keep that chest out too, stick that tailbone out. Because there's these small little points that I'm making here, small little suggestions, reminders for myself, that can be reminders for you. I think they're the difference makers. They've been the difference makers for me. All right, we're doing a little lunge position here, tip the hips up towards you, press the heel back behind you, stretching out the thigh here. All right, reaching it back there, stretching the front of the back leg. All right, so again, hip position matters, so tipping the hips up towards you, will help you get more of the stretch as you press that heel back behind you. All right in there. So tip the hips up. I usually start with the knee bent a little bit more, heels up high, and then I kind of start pressing it back, pushing this hip forward as I'm doing that. Stomach's pulled in, chest is out, getting these positions really, really well. Push the stretch where it's supposed to be placed. You can also even turn your foot in a little bit to get a little bit more hip flexor on that. One of the main hip flexors is also an external rotator. So when you internally rotate, it puts it under more stretch. All right. Whew, quad stretch. So I usually recommend you at least touch something to balance off of, because I don't want you distracted when balancing. There's other times for being a balance wizard. All right, point that knee down, push the hips forward, stretching out the thigh, the quad right here. You should feel it across the front of the leg. And also, if you are like one of those people who's like, I'm so flabby, my leg's so flabby, go ahead, while you're doing the stretch, touch your thigh. It's not right now. It's not right now. Because there are muscles there too. All right, point that knee down, push hips forward, abs in tight. A lot of times I'll flex my foot back a little bit when doing this instead of pointing the toes. Flex it back, push the hips forward, point the knee down. All right, line it up with the other leg. Tighten the butt. That's part of pushing the hips forward though. Whew. All right, calf stretch. One foot's close to the wall, one foot's farther away. Press that heel down towards the ground. Oh, get a nice stretch in here. Turn the foot in a little bit if you need to. Bend this front knee more to get a sharper angle on the stretch. Push into the wall harder to get more out of that stretch too. Just, all right, other side. Press that heel down. Bend this front knee. All right, pushing into the wall. Keep that back knee fairly straight. There are two versions of calf stretch though, and you could do a bent leg version in here too. That's a little bit deeper muscle. All right, there's two main muscles in the calf. You know, and you'll feel that one stretch more towards the Achilles when you're doing that way. All right, chest stretch, hand on the wall, about head height there, turning away from it, shoulders down, puff the chest out. Like you just took the biggest breath of air you ever took in your life. Because that is going to stretch across this chest more. All right, it's going to rake across there. It's going to be great. Need that after push-ups. Here we go. The grand moment. All right, you gotta put a little artistic flair in what you do sometimes. All right, shoulders down, chest is out. Puff the rib cage out as you turn away from this. All right, so puff it out. If you find yourself turning a lot, you probably don't have your shoulders down. If I pop my shoulder up, I can turn a lot farther. Keep that shoulder down, puff the chest out, and then you're gonna get across the chest more. All right, it doesn't mean you're stretching better if you're turning farther. You might be stretching a lot worse. All right, so that's our stretch time. And I'll have a little thought for the day. I like to include a little bit of a little scripture here, like a little wisdom from the past there. Oh, is there another one in there, Bobby? Go a little farther. Oh, we may not have uploaded it soon enough. We gotta grab a newer one. That's a nice verse. Well, let me see if I can just find it. It's I didn't write it down anywhere else. You know what? Let's just pray. We'll pray. We'll do a little description another time. And God, thank you for this opportunity that we have for exercise. You know, help us to use our bodies well. You know, that we take care of this resource that you've given us, and you know that it benefits us. You know, down the road. You know, it's an investment, a long-term investment that that brings its fruit. You know, as the years go by, and we are able to do a little bit more. Like when I see my parents playing with their grandkids, and you know, it's very valuable to me that they stay healthy. You know, it's valuable to those kids too. You know, help us to see that our fitness, our health is valuable to the people around us, and that it's not their job to take care of it, so help us to take care of ourselves. In the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, amen. All right, have fun, be safe, God bless.